starting with today is we're going to be doing square roots. First thing you need is a calculator. Definitely doesn't need to be a calculator as big or nice as this, but it needs to be a calculator that has this function, the square root. If you're not sure where it is on your calculator, I'd try Googling it. If you can't find the answer on the internet, then if you want to send me a picture of the front of the calculator, I can try and find it on there. A lot of times you have to press this second button. If it's a calculator like this, you press second and then the X squared button, which is down the left-hand side, fifth button down, and that'll put your root around it. Really, these first three problems you're going to be able to do when we get our sheets later on that show us all the perfect squares, but it's good practice getting used to using your calculator. So I'm going to first press second root. It brings up the root symbol. Then I'm going to type in 25. When I press enter, it gives me my answer 5. Obviously, if you have these memorized, it's fine just to jump right to the answer, but hopefully you at the very least have a calculator that can do these problems for you. When I put in the root of 81, it gives me back 9. Little tricky here, make sure when you put this into your calculator, the negative stays on the outside. To get a negative like that, that's not a subtraction sign. I have to press this parentheses negative down here. So if you put in the subtraction sign first, it's going to give you an error. You need to use the negative sign, not the subtraction sign. So when I put in negative root 4, it should give me negative 2. If instead this negative had been under the square root sign, it wouldn't be possible to do because all square roots have to give me positive answers. So the negative outside basically says take the root of 4, get 2, and then apply that negative to your result. For 4 through 9, we're not going to have perfect squares. It's going to give me a number with many decimal places. The instructions here go along with what the instructions are in Cengage, which tells you to round 3 decimal places. So if I put in the root of 7, it tells me 2.64575 and some more digits. I need to say I'm rounding to 3 decimal places, so this 7 is the first digit that I'm dropping. If the digit that you're dropping is 5 or larger, you round up the last number. Since 7 is 5 or larger, my final answer here would be 2.646. When I go to put in root 11, it gives me 3.3166. This is the digit that I'm dropping. It is larger than 5, which means this rounds up. So my final answer is 3.317. When I go to do negative the root of 2, it gives me negative 1.4142. I'm dropping a 2, which is lower than 5, so I can just write it as negative 1.414. Again, hopefully all of this is just punching in buttons on your calculator and rounding to the proper decimal place. Here, a little trickier because I'm multiplying by 5 first, but it's an implied multiplication. If you just write 5, then the root, your calculator will know what to do. So if I put in 5, the root of 3, this gives me 8.6602, which rounds to 8.660. For number 8, this is a little tricky. This is the way things are going to look when we get to the last lesson in the course, which is the quadratic formula. So it's a little bit of a preview. You need to understand there's understood parentheses on the top. So I need to do the top subtraction before I divide the result by 5. So I'm going to put it into my calculator's parentheses, 5 minus root 6, end parentheses, divided by 5. When I do that correctly, I should get 0.51010, which is 0.5101. For any of these, if you're not getting the same answer that I'm getting in my calculator, something's wrong with the way that you're inputting it. For number 9, I'm going to put in the same thing I just did, except with a plus. This time it gives me an answer of 1.4898. I'm dropping this 8, which rounds up. It makes this 9 really into a 10. That's why I get 1.490 as my final